Thank you. Good evening, everybody. I'm going to call the school board meeting to order at 7 o'clock. Could I please get a roll call?
Jen Sapia. John Woodward.
Here.
Katie Newton.
Here.
Mark Sherwood.
Here.
Shauna Manthorn.
Here.
Bree Woodward.
Here.
Elizabeth Fawcett.
Here.
Paula Payne. And
Yes.
Marianne Spinner. Here.
All right, everyone stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
To
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have some public meeting minutes to approve and 2 sets of non-public, correct?
Correct.
Yes, okay. So we'll do the public ones first. They start on page 4 of your notes. Don't worry, I've already talked to Dean about not having her little shortcuts.
Make a motion to approve the meeting minutes from the September 4th, 2025 school board meeting.
I will second. I have a motion from Shauna and a second by Bree. Do you have any other discussion on the meeting minutes? All right, all those in favor? Opposed and abstained, unanimous. All right, and then we have 2 sets. You have enough for that?
Thank you. September 4th, September 4th. It'll be the same.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just,
Missing a couple copies.
oh no, I'm looking.
Okay, we can share.
Yeah.
So,
Seven, 10,
there should be multiple pages.
okay.
Yeah.
So if there,
So it's just one set.
there should be 1 set for 7 PM, 1 for 9. That's fine. Okay,
And those are in the paper clips.
yeah, those share.
Just to clarify for the board, you should have 2 sets of non-public meeting minutes, both from September 4th. One is at 7 PM and the other begins at 9 PM.
This is the 9 p.m. one.
So let's do the 7 PM one first. So I think that's what you have. That's the 7.
You just see the 7 o'clock ones. I just didn't see this one. The 9 o'clock. We have to do them separately or can we combine them?
Well, I think you will, you can do both.
Make a motion to approve the September 4th, 2025 non-public meeting minutes from 7 PM and 9 PM.
Second. I have a motion by Shauna and a second by Bree. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Opposed and abstained. All right, pass them back. Moving on to student, staff, and family share.
Yeah, so I know as a school board, we've been kind of briefed on the tragedy over at Pollard and how that staff and the student body has been moving through that loss of Amy Legassi. Principal Sullivan is here tonight to talk to that and just give an update to the board about where things stand over at Pollard. Mary, so welcome tonight. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
This is going to be a little difficult, so I'm going to try and keep myself together.
Take your
So I
time.
actually have it prepared, and anybody that knows me knows this is not how I usually I'm very
Off the cuff.
off the cuff speaker. But I do want, before I read what I've prepared, I would really like to publicly thank the school board, the SAU staff, our community, the support and even just people reaching out and saying, hey, how are you guys doing? over the last week has been unbelievable. And the fact, I need you guys to know that the fact that we were able to close school and have the entire staff attend the services had such an impact on her family. Her husband, as soon as he found out, he called me in tears, just talking about how he didn't realize what an impact she had on us and how much she was loved by us here in the Pollard community. So I just think that's important for everybody to hear and know that it was not only appreciated by our staff and families that they were able to be there to be present, but also it meant a lot to her family. So I'm really here tonight to share a little bit about Amy and the impact that she had on Pollard and our community. I feel it's important that we worked with her every day. So, but for many of you, you may have never even met her. So in trying to think about how to honor her, again, she was a counselor for us. I believe she was in her 4th year with us. And she passed away from cancer last Wednesday. So it caught us all a little off guard. We knew she had been sick, but we were expecting her back. So thinking about what to share, I was all over the place, and so I started talking to staff today and just said, what kind of an impact or what things do you remember most about Amy? So Amy had a way of listening that made you feel like what you said mattered, even if it was something small. And when she talked, there was always heart behind it. In a place that could sometimes feel overwhelming or chaotic, Amy brought calm. Her kindness wasn't loud, but it lingered and it stayed with you. She was someone that we could always count on both professionally and personally, a helper, a team player who made a difference at Pollard School. Amy was the person who could get through a rough patch, or just someone that could make you feel important and welcomed. She was compassionate, dedicated, selfless, positive, strong, brave, and loving. Amy always greeted both staff and students with a smile that brightened the day for all of us. This is the one that I heard the most from both staff and students and families. The children all looked forward to her lunch bunch, and they were so excited when they were chosen to be part of it. She ensured that every single child that she worked with during the course of the year got to be part of a lunch bunch with her. She would put reminders on their desks, and that staff would love to hear, yes, it's my week to go, or it's my day to go. She just understood kids. This person said, I appreciated her gentleness and her eagerness to help everyone. Her dedication was above and beyond. I was really taken by her gentle and kind nature, especially that she remembered me. This is from a staff member who's only in our building once a week. I took that as a trait that I wanted to embody, as I knew how good it felt to be remembered by somebody that barely knew me. She truly cared about all of the students and just as much for the adults in the building. She was there for advice or a good laugh. She would handle a situation and take a deep breath and just move on to the next. She stayed so calm and never let anything appear to faze her. Amy was so excited and so proud of her family and her son and daughter. She was so excited to see what the future brought for her kids. She talked about her family all the time. We all knew how important it was to her. Amy is one of a kind. Her compassion and empathy knew no bounds. She was a kind and caring person who touched all of our hearts and had a connection with everyone in our school. And those are just a few of the things. I have 3 pages of notes that were sent to me. And I spoke to a lot of people this afternoon who said, I couldn't send you notes. It was too much. But make sure they know just how amazing she was And so it's a void. We have a huge void of Pollard right now. And we will never be able to fill it, but we will eventually have to put somebody in that position. But for right now, we're just trying to heal, and I appreciate all of the love and support that we've received. So,
Thank you for
Thank
coming
you.
here, Mary. I know that
Thank you
was
so much.
probably not the
that was
easiest
nice.
thing that you have done this week,
No.
so thank you.
Thank you.
Does anyone have anything else that they'd like to say about Mrs. Lacasio? Just our thoughts and prayers are with her and the family and Pollard as well, and she was an amazing woman and touched many lives. So, thank you. Right, any delegates and individuals?
No.
All right, could I get the 30 minutes of delegates and individuals moved to the end of the meeting?
So moved.
All right, got a motion by Shauna, do I have a second?
Bree.
Jack seconded. All those in favor? Opposed and abstain. All right. Student reps, do we have a video?
Yes, we
Mr.
do.
Stack?
We got something from Cameron Stack that Dean will queue up from us. Right, Cameron has another commitment, is not able to join the board this evening.
Timberlane High School's Milkman Improv is performing tonight at the Timberlane Performing Arts Center for the class of 2026. Spirit Week is next week, full of 5 days of different themed days with a pep rally at the end of the week with performances from different classes. Seniors this Sunday will be painting their parking spots. This Friday, we have our Project Hope game, recognizing those who have lost their lives and currently have cancer. Next Saturday is our Spirit Week dance. This Friday, September 19th, Timberlane will be taking part in New Hampshire Tackles Hunger at the home football game versus Spalding at 6:30. Spectators coming with a canned food donation will get in for free. The food donations will be split up with our school food bank, St. Luke's Food Bank, and the Sandown Food Bank. We hope to get as many donations as possible to help those in need. The concert choir held another successful chorus camp this past Friday and Saturday. Students are excited for the school year and looking forward to performing the Star Spangled Banner with the orchestra at tomorrow night's football game. Our middle school wrapped up a successful series of grade level field trips. The 8th graders traveled to Adventure Lore, the 7th graders spent time at Camp Trickling-Fold, and 6th graders enjoyed their trip to Camp Lincoln. These trips required significant investment in planning, preparation, and financial investment, but the results were well worth it. Each experience provided valuable opportunities for team building, personal growth, and other development of new friendships among our students. We continue to view these trips as an important tradition that strengthens both individual and community connections within our school. On Friday, September 12th, the Night Owls hosted the annual ice cream social for staff and students of Atkinson Academy. It was a well-attended event and one that the students and staff look forward to each year to kick off the new school year. Sandown North recognized 3 national holidays with themed dress-up days as well as engaged in learning activities aligned with the respective days. Monday was National Dot Day, where staff and students wore dots and read The Dot by author Peter H. Reynolds. Wednesday was Constitution Day, where staff and students wore red, white, and blue and engaged in a variety of learning activities. Friday was National Talk Like a Pirate Day, where students and staff dressed like pirates and enjoyed some fun storytelling in the library. On Monday, Sandown Central celebrated the creativity found within us all by acknowledging International Dot Day. Make a mark and see where it takes you.
Okay,
Thank you, Dean.
all right, cool. Moving on. Thank you, Cameron, for that, and have fun at the Milkman Show tonight. Going on to current business, instead of, we're gonna move up the EEI energy savings, first, and then we're gonna do the, next lease phase. So I believe EEI is here, correct? Come on down.
The price is right.
$1. Good evening, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Just to reintroduce the board, this is Mike Davey and Chris from EEI. Chris is mostly here on site with us, working kind of day to day, and Mike is able to be here when he needs us to. So thank you, gentlemen, for being here this evening.
Thanks. So one of the things the board had asked about are, can I share this? I don't know if there's a way to get that electronically up there. If not, I can share just have those numbers.
Projected?
Yeah, projecting, sorry.
The board has it in their packet.
They're having their.
Well, yeah, we can all look.
Okay, I don't have the hard copy of that. Do you have it? Anybody have a-
Do you need this?
I know I prepared it, but sorry.
It's on page 14, guys,
Page 14.
for our packets, page 14.
So as part of the lease project, so when we had been selected over, I think 4 years ago, to look at all the buildings, come up with the capital needs, part of the things we identified at the time were almost $100 million in potential infrastructure upgrades, as well as items that were coming to end of life. And at the time, the facilities committee and eventually the board approved narrowing that list down to about 25 million of equipment that was at end of life, roofs that were nearing end of life, and boilers, heating infrastructure, HVAC controls, and building envelope, things like windows, caulking. And so we have completed 3 of the potential 5 phases of that work. Some of the projects completed include replacing most of the air handlers at the high school, doing LED lighting like we have here, and in all the elementary schools. At the middle school and at the high school, we added dimming controls. So there were LEDs in most of the middle school and high school classrooms, but they didn't have the ability to dim the lights or have occupancy savings. We replaced the boilers that feed the high school and the PAC with high efficiency boilers. We also did a new boiler system at Danville. That was on oil. We converted it to propane. One of the things that was interesting about the high school is, although there was natural gas in the building doing the high school plant, the kitchen and other portions of the building were using propane. So when we completed the upgrade to natural gas for the new natural gas boilers, we did convert the rest of the building to natural gas. So there's some propane reduction. So we're 3/5 of the way through the project, and our conservative energy savings are $108,000 annually. And that's comes from the electric, the gas savings, the high efficiency boilers, and the equipment. The operational and maintenance savings is estimated at $43,000. So far we're $151,000 in annual savings. Operational and maintenance savings come from a variety of ways. One thing is the elementary school was every single elementary school was entirely fluorescent lights. So those ballast lamps had a huge maintenance cost associated with replacing the lamps, replacing the ballast. Then one of the other big maintenance items is all the HVAC equipment at the high school was over 20 years old. So there was a significant portion of service maintenance keeping that 20-year-old equipment running. Same thing with the boilers. I think there were 8 individual boilers. Is that correct?
That's correct.
8 individual boilers at the high school. So I had actually never seen that before. It was the most boilers per capita for any high school that I had seen. I think they had maybe more of a residential contractor who was familiar with stuff at that size. And so we put in, is it 2? 3 high mass, high efficiency boilers that serve the high school and the PAC. So the estimated maintenance savings, we worked with Carl and then Frank at the time to kind of get a quantity on that. So that's estimated at $43,000 annually by replacing all that equipment. So right now we're at $151,000. That does not include the savings for the Atkinson projects that are just coming online. It doesn't include the savings for the new windows at the high school or for the potential projects for phases 4 and 5. So that's where we're at now, but we anticipate this number to grow as those projects come online and the future phases are completed.
Go ahead, Mark.
Real fast question for you. You mentioned the PAC a few times.
Yes.
I'm not seeing that under either heat or electric.
So it's that's pulled off the high schools.
We haven't done anything on the pack yet.
It's the boiler for the high school feeds the PAC. So those savings are realized at the,
Okay.
the savings for
high
the
school.
PAC are realized at the high school.
Okay.
John?
Yeah, just a question about the HVACs that replaced several that were 20 years old.
Yeah.
20 years from now, we expect to have replaced all those. Does this look like you're kind of difficult planning?
Yeah. Truthfully, if you look at the ASHRAE, which is the Association of Heating and Ventilation Association, they will tell you, refrigeration, sorry, I got the wrong letter there. They will tell you that rooftop HVAC and equipment in New Hampshire is about 25-year life. So a lot of the equipment at the high school was right at that end of its life. A lot of that was installed in the late 90s to 2001. So 2001 was a date, for whatever reason, the voters of Timberlane in 2001 made a pretty significant investment. So we walk around and we see a lot of stuff that was installed between 1990 and 2001 for HVAC, which makes 2025, meaning that equipment is about 25 years old. It's about at the end of its useful life. And so this equipment is more efficient, it is better. But I think that the voters of Timberlane in 2050 are gonna have to deal with that. I would say they're gonna be thinking about it. Yeah.
Jack?
My guess is they'll be dealing more with maybe a new school before they deal with the new HVAC.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes,
that's the reality.
Yeah.
Buildings have their own life expectancy, if I'm
Yeah.
not mistaken.
Yeah.
First of all, I wanna thank you guys because there's always bump in the roads with construction. You guys have been a pleasure to deal with, Chris. I wish we could steal you from Mike, but I don't think that's gonna happen. What I would say is, one thing you didn't bring up was the belfry.
Yeah.
That potentially was a hazardous condition that you guys just did an incredible job. The cleanliness when doing the windows, there was a lot of demo that you guys did, and I never drove through the site or walked through the site where things weren't done. I mean, you guys covered in the dumpsters, et cetera, et cetera. So you guys are professionals. I appreciate what you've done. And the school and the district and the kids are better off for it. So thank you. But I this was a big jump and a big leap of faith for the taxpayers.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they've been, rewarded in the right way. So thank you.
I do, thank you for mentioning the Atkinson project. I know Chris is probably the proudest of that project compared to anything else we've done. Probably everyone here knows this, but for the global audience on television, that is the and if Fritz Weatherby might correct me, but I believe that Atkinson is the longest continually operating school in the state. It's a treasure. It's amazing that Atkinson has preserved that school, and that restoration that we've done improved the efficiency, but it will make it structurally sound for another generation of Atkinson residents. So we're very proud of it.
For two, hopefully.
Yeah.
Awesome. Dr. Martin?
Yes, so I would be negligent if I didn't mention this piece of it. One of the most significant pieces of energy efficiency beyond the actual tools that have been installed is our building automation system or building management system. And it allows us to remotely take a look at every building in the district and control everything that happens HVAC wise, ideally, unless there's a malfunction. And when we, as an organization, and our team, our facilities team gets even better at running that system, we should be able to achieve even more savings. And I appreciate EEI has offered to come out on a fairly regular basis and do some training with us and support us as we do that. So we should be able to achieve even more.
Awesome.
Yeah, what's included in this contract is measuring and verifying, and so we sort of are doing a report. So a lot of the controls just went in semi-recently within the last year at the high school. So we are doing sort of a report card that we're happy to share with the board or the facilities that will show when is the HVAC equipment. So like everyone's, father that would say, shut the lights off when you're not in the room, turn the thermostat on when you're on vacation. So the best way to save energy is actually not this great equipment, but it's shutting that equipment off when the building is unoccupied. And so we sort of are running every new system that we've installed, and it'll be completed across the district, a monitoring system that will show when equipment is running that it arguably shouldn't be. When I say arguably, we just have an algorithm that is running saying when is stuff on after 6 p.m. at an elementary school, when is it running after 8 p.m. at a high school? Okay, now maybe there's a reason why, but 9 times out of 10, it could be a programming error. It could be, okay, we had a basketball tournament last week and we just forgot to set it back. So we have this report card running. It's been my experience that the districts that take this report card that we produce as part of this contract every month and start cracking down on the worst offenders of stuff running when it doesn't, really blow those energy savings that I'm showing you away. My concrete example is Plymouth School District in New Hampshire really got passionate about using that report card as a tool to make the buildings better every month. And we had projected, I think, 151,000 in annual savings for Plymouth, and they're achieving over 300,000 a year by just using that tool. So it's not, the reason it's not AI is what we don't want to do is just start shutting off, this air handler is running on a Saturday, shut it off. Oh, okay, we don't know that there's a vote that day in the town or whatever. So it does need that human interaction still, but that's a tool that Chris mentioned, that if this is a great time to start using it as you get into that winter season.
Yep, check.
So as everyone, and I think the room knows, and you guys know, one of my little pet peeves or concerns are the controls and the costs associated with them. And I've always asked myself, where's the marginal rate of return on your investment versus, keeping all those rooms at exactly the same temperature? Then I started thinking, because of the diversity of buildings that we have, do the controls in, say, Sandown operate the same as the ones in, say, the academy? And the high school and the middle school are two different kind of animals. And I always ask myself, do we need the controls in this building? Do we need the controls in that building? And just so the viewing audience knows, am I right in saying there's only 2 or 3 manufacturers of those, or should I say supporters of those?
In New Hampshire, so globally there's 20 manufacturers. There's 3 or 4 companies in New Hampshire with the ability to support a school district the size of Timberlane. So I would say that's and the one that you have right now is called Control Technologies, and they were in the district before we ever came here, and they've continued to service it. Building by building, what it allows the facility director to do is remotely look at every space because this building is on that control system as well. So I don't know is that 7 or 8 buildings total with every structure.
I think it's 9.
All right, so all 9 buildings are at their fingertips, so that if someone says, it's not crazily uncommon for a teacher to say, my room is hot or cold. But what it allows the facility director to do is to log in and say, well, they may, my wife and I sit next to each other on the same car ride. She thinks it's hot, I don't. So people feel different things in temperature. And so it allows the facility director to log in and say, is it within a reasonable range, which may be between 68 and 72. So so that allows, whereas if you didn't have that, you may be sending out a service tech or, to just kind of, so that's one benefit that's common across the district. The other thing is each sort of part of a school, whether it's the classroom wing, the gym, the auditorium, it has sort of an Outlook calendar attached to it that the facility director can set as, okay, we're gonna run the pack from noon to 5, and that's when we're gonna provide a heat. When it's not heating, it will set back and start saving energy. And so the more you utilize that and dial that in, the more the savings are. One big picture thing is a lot of people think the biggest energy cost is the gas or the electric or the oil, that's the way it shows up on the bill. For schools, the ventilation load for schools, you have to have enough air changes per hour for 30 kids or 25 kids or whatever, 18 kids in a classroom. The biggest utility, so that air that's being brought in from the outside and then heated or cooled is actually the most expensive utility in the building. So shutting off those air handlers when the people aren't in the building is the number one thing you can usually do to save energy at schools. So that's what's allowed through these tools that you have.
Thank you.
Anybody have any other questions for these gentlemen?
Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you for being here. Thank you so much.
Thanks for the update.
Thank you. All right, we're gonna jump back.
Thanks for the pictures. Mike, that helps.
You and I some.
Oh, what am I? Okay. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
All right, we're gonna go to the first thing that was on the agenda, which is next lease phase. This is gonna be actually page 13, so just one page up. I think Mr. Krieger is gonna present on some things for us.
Yeah, so if you recall, we've had the conversation about the next phases of the lease at a few past board meetings. We're trying to work toward making some determinations. There in your executive summary is the overview, and all I did there is link in the executive summary from the last board meeting that mapped out some pathways for people if they wanted to review those. At our last meeting, the district admin walked away with 3 kind of takeaways. You just heard number 1, you've got the energy consumption breakdown from EEI. The second thing that the board wanted in terms of information to engage in this discussion was information about identifying CIP projects and looking toward fiscal 27 and seeing what was going to be potentially in front of the board for potential projects. In the executive summary you've got there that was received on Monday, that at that point lists the current thinking of the CIP committee. My understanding is that they have since met since Monday and have narrowed that project list down even further. And I'd like to give you that.
Do you want me to give you the 4 items on that list for the board?
See if you can concur with the 4 I have in front of me.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Go ahead.
So of the list you have there, Jack can correct me here if I'm wrong, but we're looking at the high school upgrade to the bathrooms at an estimate of $500,000. We are looking for Sandown North sprinkler system at an estimate of $650,000. We're looking at Pollard School, new vanities, fixtures, and sinks for an estimate of $100,000. And we're looking at the high school envelope of the building, not for an estimate of $390 that's on your sheet, but for an estimate of $500,000 as determined at CIP. My understanding, Jack, and maybe you can confirm this, those 4 projects will be the project list that goes
That's what's going to be presented to the budget committee.
to the budget committee and for the school board. Okay, that sounds great. So that's what is planned for fiscal 27 right now that will be coming in front of you for the board to approve. And the last thing that you had asked us to look into is the annual appropriation for the lease payment itself. 2 things to report, and they shouldn't be necessarily new information. One is that if the district executes a default budget, then the lease appropriation could be those contractual requirements that we have for past phases that we're contractually liable to pay for the next school year. That could become the default budget, just like any other contracts would that go from year to year. The main question was, does the lease appropriation need to stand at that $2 million marker annually every year? And the answer is no. That can change at the whim of what we want to be bringing to the budget committee in terms of the appropriation. This group understands that we need to appropriate at least the amount to cover the current obligations of contracts that are there and any other future contracts we would get into. But there is some space for the board to have some conversations in terms of what you would like to give me direction on to bring to budget committee. those were the three pieces of information the board felt that they needed to continue this discussion about the next potential pathway for the future of the lease payments.
Thank you. So we discussed this a little bit at facilities, we discussed this a little bit, I think, in the last meeting. I would love to be able to flip-flop, and I'm glad the guys from UBI, Chris is still here. The envelope of the building and put that on the lease. I don't know if we could add it to it, or if we could exchange the roof for the envelope of the building. I do know we need a budget number, and I think that budget number is fairly accurate with the people I've talked to, but we gotta go out and get an enclosure consultant, if you will, to give us that final estimate, because they do all the detail work, like the demo, the installation. The manufacturers will, for free, pretty much tell you what you need and give you an itemized item and a cost for that, but that's a little less than half the project. We've heard a lot about the importance of the bathrooms and what it does for the kids. I think the campus that they walk onto has just as much bearing on their outlook towards school. And I do have PowerPoint's presentation here with all the pictures of the building. That building is failing. And my question to Mike and Chris is, what is the condition? Have we done an audit on that roof? I mean, what is the condition of the roof on the PAC?
We had a moisture analysis done 2-3 years ago, and it didn't show that there were any leaks at that time.
Okay, thank you.
The membrane itself is at the end of its life, and it is not leaking at this time.
My whole thing is, guys, I wanna fix what's broken first. I think it's a shame, and I'm not gonna point a finger, that we had, in the last 2 years, we gave back $20 million, and some of these projects weren't done, and the longer we wait to do them, the more it's going to cost us. But that's water over the dam. I say we move forward with both of those projects. The question is how. I would love to see the envelope of the building either added to the lease or in lieu of something else on the lease. And I look at the roof because it's, last thing you want to do is have a leaky roof, but if we can get another year out of it, it solves all our problems for both projects. So I can either do that in a motion, or I'd love to hear some
No,
feedback
so-
from everybody else.
Well, that's fine, but what we're doing is right now, if you look at your executive summary where it says overview, if you go all the way to the right where it says here, if you click that, and then it brings up what we actually need to do, what this actual action item is. We need to figure out which pathway we wanna go. Do we want to go and draw out the entirety of the lease money that's left over, or do we wanna split it up into phases? And that's what this action item is. So that's the discussion currently that we need to be having.
I'm sorry, can you explain? I'm not with you on that. So there was like 250,000. I hit here.
Okay, so when you go and you click to your overview.
Yep.
And you see the blue here at the end?
At the end.
Yep, where it says here.
Yep.
Click it. It should bring you to another page that says executive summary.
That's what I asked out loud, 'cause that's right.
Which was also, this was also in our board packet, correct? It was went out Monday?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, this is the 2 years version.
Right, so this action item that we have to do today is we've got to figure out, do we want to do pathway 1, where we take out the entirety, or we do pathway 2, and we keep doing what we've been doing and only take out the money for the lease for the projects that we're currently going to be doing. That's what this board has to decide tonight of what we're going to be doing. Mark, go ahead.
Can I ask a question, clarification, Justin? And looking at pathway 1, the district enters into phase 4 of the lease agreement for all remaining projects. The projects themselves spread over a period of time, beginning summer 2026, concluding summer 2028. Pathway 2, the other option we're looking at, district splits it into 2 smaller groups, enters phase 4 of the lease agreement, et cetera, beginning the summer 2026, including by the opening of school 2027. Is that reversed because pathway 2 is in 2 different smaller groups, but seeming to have a completion date by 2027, unless that completion date is for the first phase of
There you go.
pathway 2? Okay,
Okay.
I
We just wanted to clarify. Okay.
Perfect.
and another point for clarification. Oh,
No, go.
another point
You're
for
gonna ask my question.
clarification. My understanding is regardless of which pathway we choose, right now rates are pretty low. Thank you, Fed just dropped another 25 basis points. But if it were to become more competitive in the future, we have the ability to then refinance again. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay,
It's one of
so we
the
can lock in now
advantages-
if it gets better.
It's one of the advantages of a lease over a bond is the ability to refinance on future dates.
Shauna, did you have something?
That was my question.
Okay,
So
Mary
thank
Ann.
you, Mark.
So I just had a question, cause I heard option one is take out the rest of the money in one and do one phase. But the attached matrix has a phase 4 and phase 5 as option one and a phase 4, 5, and 6 as phase 2. Are those different than, are those phases different phases?
Do you have anything to say to that? My understanding, Mary, I think it's just spacing out how hypothetically how the projects were gonna be laid out.
Yes.
But the
With
fundamental
summer and summer.
determination for the board is how do you wanna access the money? All at once, in parts, and Mary, I think you raised a third option of not borrowing anymore or not accessing the lease anymore.
Hold on just 1 second. Alright, go ahead, Jack.
So I think I'm not the only one that sits here and thinks this way, but the faster, I wanna get the construction over with. The faster we get in and the faster we get out, the more we can start focusing on those things that we need to be more focused on, right? The kids. So that's how I feel about it. Wasn't there a balance? For some reason, I thought there was a balance for like 250,000 or.
So if you look at on that same page,
Yeah, I
on
was trying to find that.
it's the very top paragraph on overview. It's the it's the third line down. It's $9,804,150. But there was real-time phases 1, 2. There's also $296,043.45 available that can be attached to the projects.
Okay, so I'm gonna make a motion to go with option one, cause I see a bunch of people in here shaking their heads up and down.
Okay.
So I'll make a motion to adopt option one
Pathway 1.
of the lease.
Alright, we have a motion by Jack. Do we have a second? Seconded by Dawn. Is there any further discussion on this? Yes, Bree, go ahead.
Well, after the EEI presentation, it just makes sense to complete these phases quickly to realize that cost savings. Hopefully, as they've outlined, it can gain momentum earlier and have the community saving money sooner.
Mark, go ahead.
An additional advantage is locking in the low rate now, who knows what it will be. Inflation is probably going to rear its head, and with an uncertain tariff situation, we can lock in and get some of the equipment earlier at fixed prices.
Materials, yeah.
Any other discussion?
Just to add the board, the current interest rates right now are 4.4%, which is lower than what the board was able to achieve for phases 2 and phase 3.
Nice. We have a motion by Jack and a second by Dawn. All those in favor? Opposed? And abstained, unanimous. Alright, you go to the very top of your screen, you should see 2 tabs. Please click recent on the left to get back.
Mine doesn't say
Thank
recent.
you.
Mine doesn't say
No.
You gotta go all the way to the top.
No, it doesn't say it.
Thank you, guys.
Your screen looks different than ours. We're there. I'm home. I'm home where I am, but
Oh,
yeah, we're good.
sorry.
We had to find whom.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you for the technical assistance.
Page
You're
number, we
welcome.
appreciate.
I'm doing all I can here.
You
All right,
are.
budgets to actuals. It's gonna be page 15 in your packet.
Thank you, we like that.
Hi, Maria.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Hold on, I'm coming. I'm coming. Dean, we gotta do something different.
We're aware of it.
I know.
We gotta fix this.
Very matter of fact.
Yes,
I'll fix the way
and this will be projected as well.
Hello, everyone.
Hi.
In front of you is the dashboard as of August of 2025. Obviously, this incorporates 2 months of the year, so it's pretty early in the year to have a projection. But looking into what we have realized in expenses in the last 2 months, we are projected to be in track for our reduced budget in 2026. So starting at the top, the revenue compared to what we got in July and August in 2025, we have in 2025 we got 11.9 million. This year we have 9.4 million. And in expenses, last year we spent 8.2 million, and this year we have spent 8.3 million. That is by month in the next two graphs. Then compared to budget, we are at 13% in revenue at 9.4 million out of the 73.3 million that we are expecting. And in expenses, we are at 10% at 8.3 million out of the 83.5 million that we have in the budget. The actual revenue that we have received, 3.4% is from local resources, 0.1% is from state and federal, and 96.5% is from taxpayers. For the actual expenses of 8.3 million, salaries are 32.1%, benefits are 42.6%, and operating is 25.3%. Combined salaries and benefits, as you all know, is our largest expense in the district, is 74%. We have, as of August 31st, we had 3,199 students enrolled in our 7 schools. We have 592 current employees and 62 contractors for special education.
Anybody have any questions?
Question, Maria, we didn't have a dashboard like this last year at this point in time. Is that revenue breakdown typical for this time of year? That it's not 96.5 taxpayers, and the state and federal stuff tend to come in later.
Yes, so the state aid, they make one payment in September, and then the first payment they make it in September. So this does not include the first payment, which is what we receive. So next month you will see a big increase in that because it's done in September.
A little better?
Yes, absolutely.
Maria, could you remind the board just in terms of like the percent of revenue, kind of how does that break down into those buckets in terms of at the end of the year, which generally would they be looking at for taxpayer contributions and state aid as percents?
So if I am not wrong, it's about 18% is state and federal. About 4% is local. That one is it depends what other resources we get, and the remaining is taxpayers.
So historically, Marianne, I think Timberlane's been anywhere between 70 to 75% is taxpayer.
Taxpayer funded.
Thank you for this and presenting on the regular, so we're not caught by surprise, public's not caught by surprise, we can see the trends, even though in the early stages, it's, obviously extraordinarily preliminary, but thank you for that.
Thanks, Maria.
Thank you, Maria.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, next up, we have some requests for proposals, action items. So the first one is gonna be the varsity baseball field renovation. It's gonna be on page 16.
Good evening again, everyone. As you can see, my executive summary, we submitted an RFP for baseball field, specifically the diamond renovation. And after careful consideration, we're proposing awarding it to Sports Turf Specialties. And the reason for that, not just because of the price, which is also a factor in our judgment, but they were very specific. Again, we asked for a breakdown of work and materials. We asked for Dura-Edge native premium infield mix. We asked to have the rebuild the mound to regulation height and slope using Dura-Edge Dura-Pitch professional mound clay in the platform and landing areas of the batters and catchers boxes, in addition to the install of Turpus Heritage bred soil conditioner. So they provided an accurate and complete proposal for the least amount of money, which is why we are going with the Sport Turf Specialties with the board's permission.
Any questions about it? Yeah, Jack, go ahead.
So I'm sorry I'm gonna be long-winded here, but I'm gonna have a number of questions, but before I get started, that field is only 10 years old. The JV field is only 10 years old.
Okay.
And they're in total disrepair. And my concern is we continue, we just put close to $1 million, the retention fund. If we hadn't put that in, we would have lost a bunch of fields this year, I'm sure of that. A new infield machine, $50,000-$60,000 plus all the tools, a new tractor. And yet the fields, and I have a presentation that has the pictures of where this season started. I reached out to Justin in June because I got a number of calls from parents whose kids were playing on the fields. I have a couple of the letters right here. I probably got about a half a dozen letters from really upset parents. And it's about the safety of the field. So before we start throwing money into fields, and nobody wants this place to look like Fenway Park more than me. Nobody. I've gone out there, I've spread the dirt, I've done this stuff. So I have a few questions first around the RFP itself. So who prepared the RFP? It says it was prepared for our facilities department, but who actually came up with the specs? Like who came up with the Duramex?
May I? Our staff.
Your staff, okay. So when you, just for a little bit of history, when I got the calls from those parents, someone had reached out to me in the spring saying, hey, I know you need some help down in the fields. I can't do anything, but if you need any recommendations, let me know. So I reached back out to him and we could have gotten the field done for $18,500. At that point, that included putting clay brick in at home plate, putting clay brick on the mound. This particular proposal only has compacting loose clay. There's no comparison between the two. When you talk about the Duramex comes out of a mine in Pennsylvania. That is what really probably what jacked up the cost from the 18 to the 27. One of the things to consider when you're putting infield mix in is that you want to get it locally in case you need a little bit more. You can pick up the phone and say, hey, deliver me 2 yards. So what was originally proposed was a local mix, basically the same thing. Proposed for a top layer of Turfex. In my opinion, that can be incorporated into that infield at a later date by our own people, thus saving the district money. How do I know that? Because the former facilities director, Jim Hughes, used to leave me 2 pallets and the keys to the infield machine, and I used to incorporate it myself. Over here it says rolling the edge with a 2-ton roller. It was part of the spec. That's to diminish the skin, which is the lip that forms on the outside edge of the infield. And what that does is it creates a ramp where the ball comes up and hits kids in the face. At a facilities meeting last year, I suggested maintaining the skin by either sweeping, blowing, or lightly power washing that lip to eliminate it. So over here, and all you had to do is, there's a video that's very good, but I can't get it up. You just Google, should you be rolling the skin with a 2-ton roller?
Jack, hold on just a second. So, but Dr. Martin, you said that the RFP that was created was our staff, the grounds people and everything that stated that this is what was needed in the RFP. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
So
So do you have any questions though about the RFP?
Yeah, okay, so it's not a question, it's a statement.
Okay.
And what I'm telling you is that the RFP, we had $7 million left over. We could have gotten this done off the last budget.
Okay.
Hang on. I'm showing where things are inconsistent in the RFP and the safe money is betting that I'm not gonna be able to complete this tonight. But I will tell you that it says that's the last thing you should be doing because it compacts that lip, it makes it tight, and now you can't blow it off, and all you're doing is exasperating the situation. In addition to that, it kills the grass. And that's just from Googling it, or you can go online and watch it.
Okay.
So how did we go from 18.5 out of last year's budget to 27.555 off the top of my head, off of this year's budget, we're being told how tight it is, and now I have real concerns. If we invest this kind of money, why not do it for the 18-5? Why not have our guys incorporate the turfettes in the spring?
Well, it sounds like our guys, our staff did look and they created the RFP, which stated this is what we need. And
Well,
so that's
okay,
what we're having to vote
so
on tonight.
what
But hold on, I understand, but I gotta let other people talk, okay? I get it, but hold on.
Yeah, that's
Is
fine.
it, Mark, go ahead.
Yeah. Clarifying question, so 3 different bids here, they all got the same RFP, did they all bid in for the same scope of work? In other words, did they all price up the same? In other words, if this is what they do, did anybody say, hey, we shouldn't be doing this shouldn't be part of it, or did they just kind of respond to what we put out there?
Sure, I did not get feedback of, hey, no, we shouldn't be doing this. This evening, as I present the RFPs, you'll see from one vendor, I received simply a bottom line number. From another vendor, I received specificity for an extremely much larger figure. In addition, this company, Sports Turf Specialties, has done work for us in the past with success. They also were just hired to rescue the Fisher Cats, with their outfield problem that they could not perform unless that was replaced with some immediacy. So.
So
Anybody else have any questions about these RFPs?
so I just like to.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
Does anyone else have any questions about the RFPs? Yes, Bree.
I'm just wondering, why didn't your people bid on the RFP?
A, they're not my people.
Sorry,
B,
why didn't
They
that?
did, if this guy was in this room right now, I would have no idea who he is.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I've talked to him a couple times, requesting, can you do something? Can you get on the bid list? And he wanted to send the quote to me. I said, no, send it to them, okay? Secondly, why would we pay more and get less and get things that I, as just a guy who's been around baseball fields for 15 years, know is, if you were gonna build a wall, would you want a guy out there doing shovels of clay and tamping it down? Or getting pre-manufactured brick, which goes in the home plate area and the mound area? We had a lady, Lee Johnson, that went out there every other year and put down a new brick mound. It is not gonna hold up the way the brick will. So we're gonna be paying more, getting less, and I question, just my basic knowledge of fields, do we have to spend that money that's been specified to get this stuff out of Pennsylvania versus the stuff out of Boston? I'm telling you, we don't. If this board decides to go in a different direction, if we can't afford to pay for Camp Lincoln, then we should be cutting corners wherever we can to do whatever as long as we keep it safe for the kids, that's the number one priority. You tell me one mix is better than the other, I'm all ears.
Mark.
Dr. Mark, and you may not have the answer to this. From the name, Sports Turf Specialties, not to be sarcastic, but I'm guessing sports turf is their specialty. And you had indicated that they're currently doing work for the Fisher Cats as well.
Yes, they do our field, they did the softball field renovation here.
Yeah, so this is
Same
not
concepts.
something they're doing out of the bag. So this is what they do professionally. It's the lowest bid. They're doing it for some semi-pro teams. That gives me some confidence.
I think they worked at Fenway too in Winnicott. Fenway.
So
Hold on just one second. Mary Ann had a question, then I'll let you go, Mark.
I have a question more about that. Is this a renovation that was previously on the CIP but came off because the threshold for CIP projects went up?
We were gonna replace the baseball field, not, it's a completely different
Something-
scope of work.
so it sounds like it was
And we were
something
gonna
different.
add a field, actually. It's
So-
not two different things.
Maintenance, not.
So this is maintenance.
Correct, yes, ma'am.
And is there an overall maintenance plan? I know we have a lot of fields, like which fields get done which year and on what schedule or
If I may, I can provide you with a more comprehensive report. We work with a company called Tom Irwin for our fertilizers and things of that nature. We have a computerized schedule for what has to be done during which season and so forth. This is for grass primarily. My understanding is the facilities division yearly would do a different field, skim a different infield with some frequency, whether yearly or not, whatever it needed. And we're getting back on that schedule.
I have one last thing.
One last thing.
Okay, so 3 items.
Thank you, Dr. Martin.
One, there was specified a Sand Pro, which is, or a Sand Co. groomer, specified. Now, usually when you put out a spec like this, it says R equal. All that is the grooming machine, right? So my guess is one vendor had it, the other ones didn't. Another point that was brought up is they're calling for steel anchors in the ground. When you put that against zinc or aluminum, it's gonna rust, right? So this is all these things cumulatively, you're not gonna get as well a product and pay more money for it. And then, and the last thing really is, if you don't want to, I'd be happy to throw the pictures up on the wall. The condition of the fields, and the reason why we even have to do this is because we didn't maintain the fields properly. And it wouldn't have taken much effort to do so. And I usually am screaming and hollering, driving that guy over there nuts, just to make sure things are right. And if you see the condition those kids started out in the spring, which I was complaining about that in the fall, and this is the same people, if that's the case, that made out the RFP, did anyone consider, it might be nice to have that specially colored material from Pennsylvania. But the stuff from Boston is on just about every other field in every other high school around the area.
Okay.
And it's $9,000.
Okay.
So if $9,000 is not important, then I guess, we do what we do.
Moving on. Yeah, Shauna.
And just a final question for my assurance. These folks that you're recommending to us can do the scope of the work within a time frame so that the field would be available and ready to be playable in the spring?
That's correct.
And they are a company that this district has done work with before.
Also correct.
So that being said, I'd like to make a motion to appoint Sports Turf Specialty to do the varsity baseball field renovations.
All right, I've got a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second it for discussion.
Okay, got a motion by Shauna, second for Jack.
Just so we
Further discussion.
understand, my issue isn't with the company and their ability to do the work.
Right.
That is not my complaint.
Okay.
My complaint is we cannot afford, according to everything I've been told, to be leaving money on the table. And we just need to think better moving forward. I'm the guy who advocated 2 years in a row to have all the budget numbers in by November and all the RFPs in by March, so we could have exercised a better, this has got nothing to do with any one of the vendors are taking aside. It's got to do with the inconsistencies in the RFP that are standard in the industry. And it's got to do with, we're gonna be dumping a lot of money into a field, and I did the work personally and the fields went to crap a year or two later. We can't allow that to happen anymore.
Any other discussion? Marion?
Another question, is the plan for the work to be done before the winter or at the beginning of the spring?
Wish I had that information with me right now. I know we've had this conversation. The vendor, once we have the approval on the RFP, we will work with the vendor on when is the most appropriate time to get this done. Whether it's before the snow flies or after. I don't wanna guess at it, but I know we've had a conversation I don't recall.
You have to do, you have to do it now.
Any other questions? Bree?
This is more of like a statement that I understand what Jack is saying, but we don't have numbers from a different company. We have these numbers that we're working
No,
with,
we actually do.
not with an RFP process through legal.
But under 20,000, we didn't need the RFP.
So we have numbers that went through a process. That's, I think, the important part. Okay. Any other discussion?
Yeah, just to that point, we waive policy and process and procedure almost every single meeting. So when I hear we don't follow a procedure or process, it just seems to be not even-handed. I have to say it. And I hate throwing away money if we don't have to. If it's a function of quality or it's a function of safety, I'll spend every dime we have. But in this case, having the background that I do in this, which is limited, and I'm not the smartest guy in the room, this is, It is
I
what
thought
it
your
is.
background was construction.
Huh?
I thought your background was construction.
Yeah, I spent 15 years out there on the fields spreading stuff
Okay.
and 15 years
I've
watching my
spread it in
kid
here.
play.
Ah.
Yeah,
All
very
right,
nice.
motion's been made and seconded. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 4, any, yes,
I'm sorry, I didn't catch who seconded it.
Jack did.
Oh,
All right, 7-4, all those against? 1 and opposed, 1.
Abstain, you mean.
Abstain, sorry, abstain. One
It's
abstention.
like,
All right. 7-4, 1 against, 1 abstention, sorry about that, thank you. All right, next up, we got the,
could be two different things.
yes, it can, it absolutely can. Propane, it is gonna be on page 18.
Thank you, Madam
Yeah,
Chair.
go for it.
We have our bid for propane. We were able to, we had a couple of companies that, one company that gave us a 2-year bid. We had we had 2 companies with 3-year bids, and we are proposing to go forward with Superior Plus for the overall savings for a 3-year commitment.
Thank you for going and for getting a multi-year. I know we've just been doing year to year for a while, and the board had asked for multi-year, so thank you for including that. Mark, were you
No,
gonna say
just
something?
smiling.
Oh. Marianne, did you have something you want to ask? Yep.
Yes, did the RFP include asking the companies to bid on 1, 2, and 3, or
Yes.
their choice?
Yes, we that was the expectation of the RFP.
And why are we trying to do the 3-year, which has a higher rate in year 3 than just locking in the 2 years for now at the same rate, 1.79?
So the theory being that we can't predict, right? I would rather hold someone accountable for something that I know rather than something that could be very unpredictable. But much like when I used to sign the contract for my mother's home heating oil, you don't know. You might, maybe the price of propane is really gonna go down between now and the end year 3, but I don't believe that is the case.
Any other discussion on this? Bree?
I understand that's probably the same rationale, but I was just wondering what the rationale was for not going with Palmer for the 2-year, which has the best cost savings.
Second.
And that, again, the theory there, that's the same rationale, is that our proposal is to move forward with Superior because we know what to expect. We can budget for it, and we're rolling the dice otherwise.
Yeah, Paul, go ahead, sorry.
Similar, just observation, and I mean, just a quick search, you can probably see what propane forecast is for the next 3 years, but yeah, that's a significant savings on Palmer for 2 years. And that would be how much would that be, 8 cents more in year 3 over Palmer? I don't know, if I were looking at this bid sheet, I'd be more attracted to the Palmer bid for 2 years.
Did Palmer why didn't they do a 3-year? Why'd they only do 2?
I
Did they
don't know
say-
the answer to that, and
Okay.
it's, in the RFP process, it's not appropriate for me to call and say, hey, can you give me some more
I didn't
information?
know.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Mark, go ahead.
I'm just looking over the past year, propane prices in general have gone up about 25%. We're now at a low. Traditionally, they are double digit year after year for the past couple they haven't. Again, it's non-predictable. But the year 3 lock-in price is
Commensurate with the.
yeah, I mean, and it's considerably cheaper than several of the other bidders for 1, 2, or 3 years. So their 3-year lock-in price is 10 cents less per gallon than some of the other 1 year where we currently have it. So they're locking us in at a 10 cent per gallon discount 36 months into the future.
For current offerings, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just looking at longer term projections, 27, 28.
Yeah.
Future price of propane is, people gambling, others saying it's gonna go down.
Well, and used to the board, we did this only each year. Correct me if I'm wrong. So this is something different that we're doing is multi-year instead of a single year.
Yeah, 2 year, I like that 2 year Palmer, that's just what I like.
Is it, I mean, that's our recommendation, but is it I've not experienced this here, is it appropriate if the motion fails that we would go with the board's will? Is that
I think we
My
can.
understanding is we
Yes.
make a motion per the RFE information,
Okay,
Yes.
so we could change the vendor. You
Absolutely.
recommend a vendor, but we can,
I
they
have,
follow the process, so we can.
I respect everyone's opinion in this regard, and certainly they're a very reputable company.
I like Paul's way of thinking. I'll add on to that I've had personal experiences in my family members who have had on the commercial side with Palmer, and nothing but great service. I cannot speak to the others. They're probably equally reputable, but I will have no qualms with the 2-year Palmer deal.
And I mean, I don't personally use Palmer, but I
But yeah, Venmo,
the reputation is good, is
stellar.
It's very good.
I think whatever the board decides to do, whether we decide to go
It's a
with the recommendation or we decide to go with Palmer, it's gonna be a win because we usually do this one, like, year at a time, so this
Right.
would actually lock us in for 2 years,
Absolutely.
In that case.
so.
Hold
Hold on.
No, I was gonna second him.
Okay, go ahead, Mark.
Of course you will. In that case, I'd like to make a motion to accept the Palmer 2-year contract, year 1 and year 2, both being at 1.549.
I'll second that.
All right, Mark made the motion for Palmer and Bree seconded it. All right, any other discussion? Jack?
I want the chair to recognize I didn't say anything during that whole discussion.
You're saying it now, you ruined it, man. No gold star for you. Any other discussion? All right, all those in favor? Oppose and abstain. All right, unanimous, cool. Next on the list, we've got, if you will go kindly to page 20 in your packets, we're doing the Danville School roof replacement and structural assessment.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So this is part of our FY '26 CIP listing. $550,000 was budgeted for this project.
Okay.
We are doing four of the 5 sections, four of the 6 sections of the roof that are in dire need, the bladder pieces of the roof at Danville. We are proposing to go with Melanson, which is not the lowest bidder. Triumph is the lowest bidder. However, much like other RFPs that we look at, we know what we're getting with Melanson, meaning their proposal provides very specific details in what is being removed and what is being added.
Okay.
For example, the existing EPDM membrane along with its components would be removed down to the existing deck and properly disposed of. Any GBUR that is discovered during the removal of the existing system would remain in place. I don't know what GBUR is, sorry. The properly prepared substrate would be recovered with 2 alternating layers of 2.6-inch poly blah 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 insulation and 1 layer and a half of high density. So you get my point,
Very much
right?
so.
It's a roof.
It's a roof. Okay, it's a roof, but we know what we're getting.
Okay.
I would like it also to be noted that both of the vendors that bid on this offered to provide as part of their service a structural assessment as well. And I have some more information for you, Mr. Sherwood. I know you brought this up at the facilities meeting when we talked about this. Yes, we're bringing the insulation up to code at Danville. Yes, insulation is very light. But if you have very old insulation, when you have snowpack on top, it melts quickly because the heat escapes. Here, with the new insulation, the heat will not escape to such great lengths, and so we want to make sure that we're not creating any structural issues by improving the
R value.
Yes.
I'm gonna let Shauna, Bree, did you have something? Bree and then Jack.
Just for my understanding, you mentioned 4 out of the 6
There are different
sections of,
Yes.
and the other 2 are okay
Acceptable,
and, okay,
yes.
wonderful.
Based on the Gale report that was done.
Yep.
And also consulting with our maintenance team. Yes.
You said roof and structure, or what was your? terminology you said?
So we're,
Structural assessment.
it's a structural assessment, so
Just the roof or walls or?
just the roof.
Just the roof.
Just the roof. So when we start taking things down to look at, to make sure that, to look at everything inside to make sure it's not, we're not creating a problem.
This RFP does not, so it just removes the top layer, it doesn't do anything to the underlying structure.
Of the roof? Or you're talking about walls in the building?
Top layer insulation and there's some polypropylene that could be on there. They're going to remove that, make certain it's structurally sound, there's no rust.
Correct.
Sorry. I had the advantage of being in facilities
I
when we talked about
appreciate
facility.
Mr. Sherwood's support.
Sorry, Bree.
Did that answer your question, Bree?
Yes.
Jack?
Yeah, so Dr. Martin and I had a brief chance to talk the other day about this. The dog ate my phone, but I did go out to
Hate that.
Danville the other day to see how the waterproofing is performing on that masonry. And that portion of the flat roof, just because it had rained out all weekend, the water is running down that wall. So if we can incorporate, while they do that, 6-8 inch overhang, because we went out there with EEI, we talked about putting a gutter in. No one really wants to put a gutter along the edge of the building. You want to pull the weather off the building. We just got done waterproofing that. So I just want to get that on there for the record that that's something that should be considered. Just because if you go and you look at it, you'll see where the water's running down the wall.
So if this bid is accepted, we'll probably accept something. You could then make a motion to ask and inquire about additional cost for increasing the lip, the overhang.
You can do an alternate on the proposal, actually.
Right,
Oh, this is a lease,
so they've
right?
So the best thing to do would be to vote on this, and then we could direct the super to engage with Dr. Martin about that extra stuff that you wanna do.
Yeah, it's like, it's not even 20, I don't think it's more than 20 grand, so it's not a.
Yeah, good call.
We're under the
Paul?
estimated.
Well, it just says, I mean, it's $24,000-ish. Higher. What detail and specificity was the other vendor missing?
Okay, if you give me one moment. Okay. Triumph Roofing, okay, so I have references from them. I have and then I have the cost for their structural service. I have the cost for each of the roof segments. And I have their bond and power of attorney, and that's it. I don't have any details on the work.
Okay.
And those details are missing from the other bid, or no?
Which one?
I was saying there's a bid that's 24,000 less.
That's Triumph.
That's the
Yeah.
one that.
That's the one she says it's missing.
Oh, it's missing that.
Yes, it's
Right.
missing that one, yeah.
It's not saying what they're actually gonna do.
They said you didn't have what they were actually gonna do. They didn't provide
Yeah,
it.
they
Got it.
didn't provide it.
We'll give you a roof.
That's pretty much.
Yeah, that's pretty much what they said.
But I'm sure they're a fine vendor. It's just they did not meet the requirements of the RFP.
Got
I'm sorry, Don. I enjoyed the discussion.
I mean, it sounded like they gave you the cost that they assumed would meet the requirements of the RFP, but they didn't go into detail.
Correct.
So you have no concept
Roof
of
equals this many dollars.
I'd like to make a motion to approve entering into a contract with the Melanson Company to replace the Danville School roof at $293,750.
Got a motion by Mark, do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Alyssa. Welcome to the party.
Perhaps I should amend that to the portions of the roof that, because it's not the entire roof we're replacing, we're only replacing what we need to.
But was that not?
That's
in the
the
RFP?
Say
That's the
as
RFP.
specified.
As specified in the
That's what's
RFP.
fine, yeah.
Alright, Mark made the motion. Alyssa seconded. Any other discussion? Bree?
So, just to clarify again, cause this, I believe, was a CIP project, for fiscal year, this one.
FY26, yes.
And they had originally allotted,
$550,000.
so this is generously under what was anticipated, and it looks like there's maybe some more things to do things with.
How much is that off the CIP? I apologize.
So, right, but $550,000 was budgeted, but remember, I don't know, I wasn't here. I'm gonna make an assumption that it was for every segment of the roof, and we're not doing every segment of the roof, we're doing 4, I believe it's 6.
It's a correct assumption.
Thank you.
Alright, any other discussion? Alright, all those in favor? Opposed and abstained, unanimous. Alright, last one, guys, janitorial supplies. This is gonna
Okay.
be on page 23.
So I would ask the grace from the board that this is the first RFP that we put out with the after the renovation, for the lack of better term, of policy DJE. We spend almost $250,000 a year on janitorial supplies of different types. And what we did was we created a list of products that we needed for our to do our work, and then sent it out for RFP. We had the responses that you can see, and then in looking at them, we decided to, let's look at our major usage items, which is what you see in the spreadsheet that says janitorial usage sample.
So pause real quick, just so board
Sure.
members know, it's in the first paragraph, it's that last word here. If you click on it, it takes you to the spreadsheet.
Okay. So we currently use a company called Cleanorama, referred to as COR in that spreadsheet or Google Sheet. We are happy overall with their responsivity, with the product that they use, with the training that they provide our folks, with the repair service, et cetera, et cetera. So we are proposing to go with Cleanorama for that reason, also with the reason of we currently have all of their distribution machines, different dispensers for the janitorial closets, for the bathrooms, for the classrooms, for the cafeterias, and so forth. And I believe, how many years is this? Is this a two-year contract with no more than a 5% increase? And it was interesting that all of the vendors had the same response with no more than a 5% increase. So, and I would note that they just received, Cleanorama just received the University System of New Hampshire contract, which I think is pretty substantial. They're a Southern Maine company.
And so Cleanorama is, in addition to having the history, they are about 6% less than the other bid. So my only other question is, why is it that Atkinson is using so many more paper towels than the other schools?
There's so much.
I will let the representative from Atkinson answer that question.
Dawn, go for it.
Yeah, Jack.
All the materials we're getting from the cleaning agents, PFC free.
So the answer to that question is yes. And we are not allowed to use anything of that nature. And we also have all of the documentation from Cleanorama for the products that the contents of each of their products available in each of our schools.
Just on that note, if you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead.
Are we still doing anything with we were talking about taking water out that had been the cleaning water. We're not doing that, right? Because we don't have, we have an issue, did we?
Sure.
Did we take the
Dr.
wax
Martin.
down?
Sure.
Yeah.
So we last December, I believe it was, we sampled a classroom. We stripped, actually it was a small office. We stripped the small office flooring down to the raw linoleum and sent that stripper to be tested. Sent the water to be tested. It did not rise to the level of having any concern for disposal. So we are not shipping our wastewater for floor stripping out. It's not necessary at this time.
No, thank you.
However, if they change the PFAS,
Change it
quantities that are unacceptable, we may end up having to do that. Not at this time.
Thank you.
Anybody have any other discussion about this RFP though? That was a good question though.
Oh, thank you, Madam Chair.
You're welcome. I give you a half star. Mark, go ahead.
I'd like to make a motion to approve entering into contract with Cleanorama, that feels weird saying it, with no more than a 5% increase in the following 2 years.
All right, got a motion by Mark. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Shauna. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? And abstained? Unanimous, 4. All right, cool. Made it. Now we're on to policies. So we're gonna go to page 29. And I
I'd be
believe Mr. Krieger's
Happy
gonna.
to speak to policies tonight to you. So you've got 3 of them here. The 2 are for the first reads. IKFG is required by law. It's reflective of the new 306 rules that you know that Sandy's been speaking about, and just really pushes down career explorations all the way to the elementary level, which I think both Doc Martin and I fully support. I mean, engaging kids as early as they can about those pieces.
Is there anybody from policy that wants to speak to this besides Justin? No? Okay. Does anybody have any questions about policy IKFG? Yes, Bree.
I
And
guess
then
my-
Marion.
just a clarifying kind of question. Because it's a policy and not necessarily a procedure, do you actually have to give examples of how you're gonna do it?
Not yet.
Okay.
This is the 20, yeah.
I have a question if anybody knows, are we actually already doing these things and this is documenting that it's available to students?
Primarily, yes, at the high school and middle school levels. At our initial kind of cursory review, we feel really good at what we're doing. Our current practice kind of meets these pieces. The change will be at the elementary level of what's that going to look like? What are those things going to be? And for us to also think about, are there already natural pathways where it is happening, like it is at the high school, middle school, that we can capitalize on?
Do you wanna go ahead and talk about JLF?
JLF, reporting child abuse or neglect. Again, this is a current policy that's being revised. What it really does is tighten some of the timelines for those required reportings, and also allows for a little bit more obligation on behalf of the administrative group to be there as a support or a bridge to the initial reporter who has to make those calls. So typically, it's not the building principal that is the firsthand person learning of these things. But this change really puts the onus on admin to support that paraeducator or classroom teacher or nurse that's hearing that report, helping them make those calls and having those conversations with DCOF alongside of them, which is our current practice. It's just getting specified, I think, here in the law about more full supporting those first reporters.
Yes, Bree.
I just also wanted to comment that it also includes volunteers into the scope of reporting as well. So they have a more active role, I would say.
All right, before we go on to the revocation notice, does the board want to vote for first reads on each one individually or group them together? All right, will someone do it?
Actually gonna make a motion to approve policy IKFG and JLF for adoption, given that we need these policies in place and they're required by law.
For adoption, those are
For
bold.
adoption, waiving first read.
I'll second that. You're waiving second read.
All right, so motion was made by Shauna, seconded by Jack. And the motion is to adopt policy IKFG and JLF. I know the policy committee, they didn't have any issues.
No,
Okay.
they feel good about it.
Paul, yes.
You have your hands on
You go ahead first.
Just as page 1 of IKFG, there's a spelling error at the top, credentials.
We can fix that.
It's French.
Marion?
I noticed that in IKFG, high school is very solid, students shall have access and shall be incorporated. But middle school and elementary school were more, may be introduced, teachers can help, but it's not as formal. Does that meet the requirements?
It meets the requirements, and it's really about whether it's credit bearing. That's really why things get specified at the high school level in such detail, because not only is this involving just things teachers can do for clubs and activities, there's classes that these kids are taking, right, for credit. So you'll see a lot more specificity at the high school level.
Okay.
And a lot more developmental exploratory terms like may, or allowing us to figure out what's gonna be developmentally appropriate.
And then in the JLF, the training required part at the end, is that training that we're already doing, that's already in place, or does that need to be developed and scheduled? It's the very end of
I
the.
see it there.
let's see.
Part of annual
We are
training.
already
Page 3.
engaged in those things, but it is a challenge with some of the folks that work here that are not necessarily full-time or that are contract service providers or volunteers. It's a challenge for us to be able to reach everybody, and I think as we go through negotiations and as we talk about some of those things about us carving out time for that training is also important.
Bree?
Well, also, like, how are we gonna train volunteers, I guess, was kind of my question, and then I guess that's procedure. And then who is going to review this, just because of page 2 on JLF has like a phone number, and is someone making sure that that is up to date each year?
That phone number doesn't change.
Alright, motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor? Opposed and abstained. Alright, unanimous. And then we have a revocation notice.
Yes, if you recall, this is from a bit ago, this was the changing back and forth of the Title IX laws. And if Sandy's done an excellent job explaining it to us, but we're back at the 2020 rules around Title IX. Pregnant students are a protected group in that legislation. So this policy that we have that was just recently redone, we no longer need. It was advised by our legal counsel that we would have one direction of how to process through events that were dealing with pregnant students. And we would do it through the Title IX existing legislation and not through the policy that we developed in response to the new rules that no longer exist.
Make a motion to revoke.
Hold on. We don't have to make any motion because it's just a notice, right? That's all it is.
Says we should make a motion.
No, this would be a revocation and we needed the full board to be present for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
But hold on, Bree.
I just wanted to clarify, we already in place have a policy
That covers.
that supersedes and like covers already in place.
Alright, Sean, go.
Okay, make a motion to revoke policy JIE pregnant students.
Second.
Alright, motion by Shauna, seconded by Mark. Any other discussion?
I just have
Yeah,
a quick
Jack, go
question. Around Title IX, are we gonna take that piece by piece by piece, or do you just, like, things have changed, and the last time we talked about it, Sandy said that they're waiting for information back from the state for direction, and so this is part of Title IX, is what you're saying?
The Title IX rules changed.
Right.
In response to that, we created a policy to work with pregnant students.
Okay,
Since we did that, the Title IX rules have reverted back to their 2020 piece, which includes pregnant students as a protected group. So anything we would need to do for recourse, we've got the process and legislation to do it with. We just don't wanna have two methods of dealing with the
Right.
same protected group.
Right. Thank you.
You bet.
Alright.
Sandy will be proud of me.
She would be very proud of Justin, I was just thinking that.
That's what counts.
Alright, any other discussion? Alright, all's in favor? Opposed and abstained. Unanimous pass. Alright, guys, next, administrators report.
Cool. 6 things I think tonight to talk you through. The first is just giving an update about where we stand with the director of facilities position.
Okay.
Last I understood, I'm looking into hiring or contracting with an organization to do a search. The 2 prospects that I've been in contact with are the New Hampshire School Boards Association, and not only do they provide that type of service, they've never done it for a facilities director, but they feel like it could be an interesting prospect. They've also got other organizations that I can reach to. So in addition to that, NASBO is also an organization I've reached to and I'm waiting to hear back from them. They also do a lot of facility planning around the state, so I'm gonna see if they've got a firm either within their organization they can do or recommend something out. So I hope to bring back some more clarity around that at the next meeting. In addition to that, around the facilities director, Doc Martin and I have met with the facilities folks. We've identified a list of items that really sit in that facility director category that we want to assign some cost to. And what I mean for that is potentially stipends for people in our district to pick up some of that work, and or cost about how we're going to redefine our roles at the SAU in pieces that we'll be picking up there, and therefore other projects or initiatives that we are going to be unable to move on. I hope to bring back some clarity for the next meeting for that as well. And lastly, with the facilities director, I want to let the board know that I've met with the skilled maintenance folks as a group, just to update them about where we are as a district in this process. And I also intend to visit every school in our district and meet with the custodian crews at those schools to give them an update about where we are in the process. I think it's important that that group doing that work is informed about where we're moving and the time frame for them to have some leadership. I want to also talk two things BudCom related. The first is I'm going to be looking to set some work sessions with Maria that I'll invite some members of the board and also some members of the budget committee. We want to do some walking through of exercises about cash flow in the Timberlane Regional School District. We'll gear it toward this year, looking at our voted budget and where we are with cash flow. But I think it's a good opportunity to continue some of that education just about how the money runs across the district, and may help people here engage constituents, and also would educate members of BudCom around the revenue side of things and how cash moves through the district. So please look for those. There'll be educational opportunities. BudCom met for really its first kind of official meeting last Thursday. We presented the SAU budget, the budget specific to school board, the technology budget, and Sandy presented the curriculum and professional learning budgets. Next Thursday is our second meeting. We will be presenting the elementary school budgets at that meeting itself. I want to remind the board here is that we're also going to be sharing that BudCom packet with this group each Monday. So as BudCom's getting it, I also feel it's important to share those numbers as they're rolling out with the school board as well. So you should be seeing those. And lastly, we've got a visitation calendar that Doc Martin and I are working on for virtual walkthroughs for BudCom. They'll be at the schools. They'll dovetail events like PTSA events and or student and parent teacher conferences where there's lots of people in the building. Myself will be there. Doc Martin may be there on some occasions, and members of BudCom to show off the work that's been done in the building through QR codes, but also some of the work that is still kind of unfinished and things that need to get done. So that calendar will be coming out shortly. Update on transportation. The 4 out-of-district regional drivers that I let you know that were here in Timberlane working 2 weeks ago are still here in Timberlane working.
Nice.
They have not run away yet, which again shows I think they are enjoying their jobs there. Plastow continues to not have a backed up bus at this point. Sandown should come off back up on the 22nd when they get their regular driver back. And that will leave us with just 2 backups across the district. And our hope again is that hiring pipeline that I mapped out for you last time will be able to fill some of those needs. The important thing is that we haven't lost ground in 2 weeks. So that's I think that's a good thing to report. And lastly, or actually one more thing and then I'll close. Constitution Day was yesterday. Board members, you guys have any idea how many delegates were assigned to the Constitutional Convention from the states?
No.
The number was 70.
Oh,
You know how many actually showed up?
how many?
55.
Huh?
You know how many did not vote or cast a vote? 3. You know how many actually signed the Constitution from the Constitutional Convention? 39.
Huh.
39 people. So on Constitution Day, there's lots of red, white, and blue in the elementary schools. They did a lot of developmentally appropriate things at each grade level. It even got into a math class, if you can figure that out, about how they did that. Talking about ratification dates. More formalized stuff at the middle school and high school. They did some kind of morning announcements, kind of setting the stage for that. And really then the social studies folks ran with some developmentally things at the middle school, building off each other, 6th, 7th, and 8th. And also did the same things at the high school. But certainly a big day, a good day to recognize, and it's something that brings us together. So celebrate in our schools. And I'll close with this. If you recall last year, we had the New Hampshire Funding Fairness Project in Plastow. They presented at the PAC as a community event, just educating the general public about how schools in New Hampshire are funded. They are setting up regional conversations across the state to really educate the general populace about what the voting records were of their legislative elected officials and if they align with their priorities around education funding. I've engaged the subcommittee of the board for the tax gap group. This group has exactly the representation that they were looking to meet with regionally.
Okay.
I presented it last time to the tax gap group, and although they will not meet with this group as a subcommittee of the board, they're all engaged in wanting to be part of this meeting with this organization because they understand they represent the domains they're looking for. School officials, BudCom folks, and most importantly, residents of the towns. So I'm gonna work to set a calendar where we'll host these folks again. It will be with a small group made up of the tax group committee. And again, their purpose is to educate of the voting records and potentially have a small group of people that can be pushing out factual information about this next upcoming legislative session. So we can educate our surrounding communities about what are those cost item impacts, what are the bills in front of the legislature, and how do we want to speak as a community to our elected officials about where we want to see their votes take place. So as we learn more there, both Marianne sits there and I'm going to be continuing to sit there. And Alyssa, I think you're joining us as well. So we'll have some representation from the board, but as a community, I think it's an awesome educational piece that we can continue to do to inform ourselves.
Very nice.
And that's all I have. And I think we're going to pass on Doc Martin for all the RFPs tonight.
Thank you.
Great. Let's see, personnel report, we just have it in our, no nominations or anything. Committee reports, starting with Mary Ann.
So the tax cap committee, Justin covered quite a bit, but we're planning to have a presentation for the school board at the October 16th meeting, if that fits the agenda that night. And there's another meeting of the group on September 24th. The report's in progress, draft of the report.
Nice. Paul?
I have nothing new to report.
Alyssa?
Mary Ann covered it.
Alright. Bree?
Talked about CIP already, and wellness will be meeting, we're working on the schedule.
End of October, beginning of November. The schedule got really full all of a sudden.
Yeah, no joke. Did you have anything else?
And curriculum and assessment is meeting the first Wednesday in October, so no news.
Negotiations have started up, picking up steam with TSSU. Marianne and I have been here for quite a few hours already. Beginning stages, we have a good team working together. Facilities met as well, covered a lot of the material that we talked about this evening. Trying to prioritize and, squeeze every dollar we can.
Justin covered budget committee, and again, just negotiations are underway. Everybody's, I think we're at least into our second meetings now. Fall sports are going on right now. There was a bunch of stuff going on at the middle school, but middle school cross country was going on today, and I think the boys did really good. Other than that's all I have. Don?
Nothing new.
Jack?
Well, we covered the CIP, but again, just to kind of summarize, we got it down to the 4 items. I think it was $1.75 million off the top of my head. I think those are all worthwhile projects. We missed Dr. Martin at the meeting, refereeing all of us. So we missed you, Dr. Martin. But anyways, when that's done, we will be putting together the presentation for the budget committee.
All right, is there any other business at this time? Any delegates or individuals? Were you wanting to speak? Yes. Okay, if you can come speak, but then just make sure that you fill out a form before you go. But you can go ahead and come up and speak, and then you can fill it out when you get done.
I didn't write anything down, so that's probably.
It's okay. Just state your name and your town, please.
Sure, Lauren Kincaid Plastow. I just wanted to mention that I have some profound concerns about one of my children's English teacher and the situation that is going on around that right now. And I know that we are a microcosm of what's happening in the country around us right now. And I just want to say that my strong belief is that free speech is free speech is free speech. And my opinion, no one's opinion of what happened changes that. And I won't even state my opinion because it really doesn't matter. There was another thing I was going to say about that.
It's okay, take your time.
Oh, that, we teach our kids and and I'm talking a lot with my child about this because this is the shockwaves of what has happened around the country is now in our kitchen. And we teach our kids that actions have consequences, and I clearly believe that as well. We also teach our children that the consequences are, I don't know what the right word is, it have to reflect the actions.
Proportional.
Have to be, yes, in proportion, thank you. And I really just hope that our district is, and I'm sure it is, taking all of this into consideration and not just jumping on a witch hunt bandwagon. So that is all.
Thank you,
Thank
thank you for
you.
speaking.
Nicely done.
Any other delegates or individuals who wish to speak?
No.
Okay, and then she's gonna just fill that out and give it back to Linda when you get done. Thank you so much. All right, seeing that there is none, we do have to go into a non-public
A
session.
motion to go into non-public under 91-A:3 subparagraph C.
Second.
All right, motion made by Shauna, seconded by Bree. Could I please have a roll call vote, Linda, when you get a chance?
Yep. Jack Figgia, Doug Woodward, Katie Newsom.
Yes.
Matt Sherwood, Shauna Manson.
Yes.
Dave Woodward, Melissa Clausen.
Yes.
Paula King and Mary Ann Turner.
Yes. All right, thank you, everybody. We'll only be back just to seal the minutes, but have a good evening.